Okay, the next application that is a past customer is a company called Full Compass. Very successful e-commerce site for audio, video, and AV lighting equipment. When I got brought in to work with them, they they were just in the design of the current site that you see here, and this is a PHP MySQL based web application. And their infrastructure though is based on Microsoft products, so SQL Server, Advanced Server. They use Visual Studio, .NET, and so on. They manage all their data on the back end is all Microsoft technology. And so this was a very interesting and exciting project for me because we had to use all XML and web services for managing the data communication between their PHP MySQL site and then the data backbone back at their corporate headquarters. And the other thing is the company that was doing the development of the e-commerce site, they were based out in New Zealand, so there's no face-to-face meetings that were possible with them, at least for the entire time I was there. Everything was done over the phone. So you can imagine the additional level of communication efforts and things to make sure that things succeeded and went well. What I did is I wrote an application that had some very, very powerful stored procedures that would take data from their call center, which is based on a proprietary flat file custom database, bring those in, transform them, create tables on the fly, and very large and very powerful stored procedures that would then transform that data and bring it into a completely different relational style schema that they'd had in their system. And so that was one of the key things that needed to get done. The other piece was that every single solid data was required full reporting and management. And because this was XML based, I had to write some very complex but very, very fun to write algorithms that what they did is they would intelligently spawn threads or processes and process any changes in the data that was received through their product development and telemarketing departments, and take that data, package it up into XML streams, and then intelligently transmit those XML streams out to the commerce site that you see here. And anybody that's dealt with XML, you know that there's something called XML bloat. At least that's my term for it anyway. What happens is that the XML schema can sometimes outweigh the data itself, and if you're dealing with a lot of data to get it to work efficiently, what I found is that for large data streams you had to very intelligently know how to break the data up, how to package it, set up all the communications so that so all the data that needed to get transmitted, even though you broke it up, you ensured that everything made it out to the e-commerce site. And then the e-commerce site also had a lot of data that got brought down as well, and we had to handle out the data communication for that. So this particular application was interesting because I had to write a Windows service that was running on one of their servers, and it would actively monitor and control several different processes that would run on the server, as well as manage the databases, the entire data path and backbone for everything that was being transferred on the site. That was one of my most interesting and exciting applications for me. One of the things that I also enjoyed was that I had a very solid customized reporting piece that allowed the VP of their IT group to go in and monitor all the data live. And if you can imagine with the amount of data that could be transferred, the Windows application that I wrote to display and monitor every single piece of data. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort to get that so that you don't have screen freeze and so on. And so I architected that entire Windows app for them, and it worked extremely well. It had a number of different messages that it would automatically send out via email, and database driven as well, event handlers. So they were fully aware of if any issue came up, they would get message on it. They could look at the data live down to the very cell. So if something wasn't showing up correctly on their e-commerce site, which was PHP MySQL based, we could actually go down to the exact date, time, all the way down to a particular cell of data and know exactly what was transferred, because I had a complete messaging system that basically acted as another layer on top, so that you would know not only all the data was getting transferred, but there would be additional detail that would be attached that then would allow you to track everything. So at any rate, that was a great opportunity for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that project.